I'm Kim. You're watching Kim Wilson TV. My channel is dedicated to helping victims of narcissistic abuse get free and stay free. Now, I've noticed as our channel here has grown, we've got a lot of new people here, and welcome. You're certainly welcome here. But I've noticed a lot of people are a little bit confused by the verbiage, so today we're going to clear some of that up. So let's start with the word narc. What is a narc? Well, kind of a loose, general term used to describe someone who suffers from one of the cluster B conditions. Now, that could be overt or covert narcissism. It could be borderline personality disorder. They could be a psychopath. They could be a sociopath. What they are is someone gravely, gravely damaged, someone who feeds off hurting other people, someone with a dead and empty soul, and the jury's still out on whether or not these fiends are demon-possessed. So when you hear the term narc, it's kind of a general term for anyone under the cluster B umbrella. So what is mirroring? Mirroring is part of the initial trap, where the narcissist, in a very predator-type way, is watching you, observing you, asking questions, gaining information, so they can then mirror you, present like someone just like you, present like your soulmate, someone who shares all your interests and hobbies, someone who has the same passion for life. So they observe you, they gather information, they construct an illusion of a person intended to be just like you. So after gathering the information, they get the mask on, they build that fake facade, and they put that on you. Mirroring is extremely dangerous because mirroring is the initial trap. Now, it doesn't matter what country you're in or what language you speak. If you are in a romantic relationship with a narcissist, they are always, without exception, going to follow a four-step cycle. This is going to start with the initial idealization and love bombing phase. This is going to move into devaluing, dumping, and discarding. It's always the same. And if you've been with them a long time, you've probably looped through this cycle countless times, as I have. Now, if you're new, just figuring out what's going on, and you're seeing these signs and you're able to get away now, you will save yourself quite a bit of grief, because this cycle will just keep going and keep going. Idealization, devaluing, dumping, discarding. It's always the same. What is narcissistic projection or projecting? Well, you may find kind of early on in the relationship, when you're stumbling between the idealization phase and the devaluing stage, you may start to kind of catch on to some of their weird behaviors. You may start to suspect that they're lying, that they're cheating, that they're very covert in their behavior. Something creepy's going on. You may start to suspect that they are drug addicted or have problems with gambling or alcoholism. There's all kinds of signs that start to come up. And when you approach your narcissist about this and say, hey, this is what I'm kind of sensing here, what they do is they take what that perceived accusation against them, they roll that into a big ball, and they dump it back on you. And that's why victims will very often be accused of being untrustworthy, of being liars, of being cheaters. Why? Because that is what they themselves are doing. Now, it does feel very painful when you're already kind of worried or upset and you're wondering what's going on, and now you're being accused of the very things that you're suspecting they're doing. Well, take it as a confession. What they're actually doing is confessing. If the narc is saying, hey, you're cheating on me, it's because they're cheating on you. If they're calling you a liar, it's because they themselves are liars. Projection is very, very real, and it is something that really, really can be harmful and damaging. Part of the reason for that is you never seem to get to resolution. Like, you suspect all this weird stuff, and it just keeps looping and looping and looping and getting dumped back on you. Projection's horrible. Gaslighting, yikes. The term is derived from a movie made in the 1940s. You can actually find it here at YouTube. I do recommend you just take kind of a quick look at it. You'll figure it out really fast. Gaslighting is a form of very abusive mind control and control over your emotions, causing you to become very disorientated, very confused, and often reaching a point where you cannot even trust your own instincts. You can't trust what you've heard with your own ears or what you've seen with your own eyes. This is common amongst narcs, to keep you confused, keep you in the loop, keep you from seeing what's under the mask. Gaslighting is a protective measure to keep the mask in place. So you start to see behind the mask and you're, oh, yikes, that's not right, that's ugly, and then they gaslight the shit out of you to get the mask back in position. So now you're standing there scratching your head going, what the hell just happened? Gaslighting is a form of mind control. Hoovering. What is hoovering? Hoovering will occur while you're still with the narcissist in the form of that sweet, mean cycle. 1 minute they're great, next minute they're horrendous. But it can also transcend beyond that relationship. You can leave, you can start to develop a new life, start to heal from the abuse, and all of a sudden in it comes again. Hoovering. Trying to suck you back in. The word does derive from the Hoover vacuum, and that's what that's about, just trying to suck you back in. You drift away, they suck you back in. That's what hoovering is. And I'll tell you, hoovering is what got me trapped over and over again. I'd been out many times, and it was that hoovering that pulled me back in, believing that maybe they had changed, believe maybe something had occurred in them that was going to make them the original person I met, because, man, I hadn't seen that guy for a long time, and of course missed him terribly. So they will hoover you, leading you to believe that they're somehow cured or healed, or that original person you fell in love with was actually real. Well, it wasn't. It was a fake facade, fake image, all bullshit, and hoovering is just that. It's a vacuum sucking you back in. Now, I'm sure by now you've heard the term ghosting. Ghosting is actually that transition into the dumping phase. You never knew that this relationship was going to end. You very likely thought you'd met your soulmate. But from the first time the narc laid eyes on you, they knew that you were going through that 4-step cycle, and you were ultimately going to be dumped. Dumping you was on their mind when they first met you. So ghosting is that kind of transition into the dumping phase where you just seem to vanish to them. You're like a ghost. You don't exist. All of your importance has dissipated, and there you are, absolutely nothing as you transition into the dumping phase. Lots of new friends here at Kim Wilson TV have asked, what is a narc harem? Well, I would suggest, just for sake of timing on this video, that you go to my video. It's got a picture of pots on the front, and the video is called, What is a Narc Harem? If you take a look at that, I'm sure it'll become very, very clear to you. A narc harem is typically people that your narc is having affairs with. It can be their siblings, who they too could be having affairs with, or it could be someone kind of in their inner circle. But if you go to that video, What is a Narc Harem? Look for the pictures of the pots on the front. It'll clearly explain all of it. Oh, many a victim of narcissistic abuse have suffered terribly from triangulation. What is triangulation? It is the introduction into your, well, them and you, partnership. It's the introduction of a person, a place, a thing, something. Quite typically, a victim will be triangulated with a third party that the narc is having an affair with. Though it can be a neighbor, it can be the TV, it can be a dog. It can be anything that they drag into your little twosome and introduce a third entity, something that is now more important than you, something that they're going to use to hurt you with. They're going to make comments like, oh, so-and-so said this about you, kind of thing. It's the introduction of something into your twosome that now makes it a threesome. Triangulation is extremely painful, and unfortunately, it most typically is introduced by using the person they're having an affair with. Triangulation and that third person can quite often be the confession of an affair. Now, we've all heard about the dreaded final discard, but honest to goodness, guys, the narc has no capacity to control the final discard at all. They can control the discard. They can absolutely discard you, but the final discard, that always, always belongs to victims. The narcissist seeing you as a two-dimensional possession is always going to return. I don't care if it takes 1 month, 1 year, or 10 years, that jackass is coming back, male or female. It is coming back to check on its possession. So it really doesn't have the internal workings to discard you finally. You're the only one that can do that, and you have absolute control over that. When you've decided you've had enough, initiate the final discard and be done with them. Moving right along, let's not underestimate the narc smirk. Oh my God, that thing can make your blood run cold. It is that bizarre look of satisfaction on the narcissist's face when they are executing evil against you. You may not even know they're plotting against you, but oh, they're plotting. And if you look over on the couch and there's your narc with some weird, demented, demon-possessed narc smirk on their face, that's what's happening. They're plotting, and the delight in plotting against you comes through in this twisted, crazy-eyed grin from hell. That's the narc smirk. Now, if you're here at Kim Wilson TV, chances are it's not an accident. You probably belong here. And if you're new to the narcissistic victims, target survivors community, welcome. You're certainly in good hands with a lot of wonderful people who truly care a lot about each other. But, you know, I keep getting this question, what is narc supply? Now, narc supply is absolutely your suffering. The narcissist is a soul vampire. They are absolutely dead and empty inside. And the way they fill up their dead, empty souls is by inflicting injury on you. So there's your narc looking for supply. So he's going to do a whole bunch of horrible, horrible shit to you. And by he, I mean he or she, whichever gender your narc is. They're going to inflict horrendous pain on you. That suffering then feeds their dead, empty souls. Yeah, you would ask yourself, how could a human being feed, flourish, enjoy the suffering of others? Yeah, good fucking question, but that's what they're doing. Narc supply is your pain and your suffering, and they need it badly. They need it like drug addicts need heroin. So they are never going to stop injuring you because they need that constant feeding of your pain. Guys, I'm Kim. You're watching Kim Wilson TV. I hope this video is a help to many of the new wonderful friends here that we have at Kim Wilson TV. Sorry you guys made it here, but thank God you did. Peace be with you.